Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. And let me go ahead and just say this because this is a live video. For my replay game, I got you covered, okay? So we're going to jump right on into this. Today, we're discussing your old self is still online, digital privacy, AI, digital ID, and closing back doors. Now, listen, I know some of you all don't geek out like we do over here. However, I have to ring the alarm even more on this. There is a lot that have come out with the FCC. There is a lot that has come out as far as with the EU, what they're doing, backdoor ways of being able to get you to, in front of you into digital ID. And unfortunately, the majority of people, now I'm just going to go ahead and give you the bad news. The majority of people will not be able to escape this. Hear me again. The majority of people will not be able to escape this. I've been talking about digital IDs for quite some while. As I know, y'all don't like to hear about crypto and you don't like to hear about blockchain technology or AI, but we have been finding the ways of being able to operate decentralized lives using these tools. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get into it. And for my replay gang, if you come in on another day, you already know how we do not waste. Okay. We're not going to waste any time. We're going to go right into it. Okay. So some of you, like myself, changed your life, but you never closed the digital back doors. You moved on. Your Facebook page did not. You matured, right? You matured. Your old posts did not. You healed. Your screenshots did not. You repented. The search engine did not. You deleted the apps, but did you delete the access? You left the platform. And if you know my journey, I've done that. I've deplatformed from everything possible. But did the platform leave you? Because there is a difference between not logging in and being untethered. There is a difference between being inactive and being invisible. There is a difference between growing up and cleaning up the digital evidence of who you used to be. And tonight we are going to talk about that because privacy is becoming the new wealth language, not privacy as an aesthetic. Okay. Not privacy as paranoia or media strategy, not privacy as hiding, privacy as infrastructure. This is the language of the wealthy. Trust me. This is why they are building data centers. Privacy as governance, privacy as stewardship, privacy as dominion. There was a time when reinventing yourself meant leaving town, changing jobs, changing churches, changing your circle, moving on. But in this era, reinventing or reinvention requires something deeper. You have to close the digital back doors to your old online self. Let me say that again. You have to close the digital back doors to your old online self because old pages still speak. Old tags still speak. Old captions still speak. Old phone numbers still speak. Old screenshots still speak. Old inboxes still speak. Old business profiles still speak. And I'm going to testify that to that today. Old versions of you can still be searchable, indexed, scraped, screenshotted, shared, and AI readable. So tonight is not about shame. Tonight is not about fear. Tonight is not about beating yourself up over who you used to be if that's an issue, right? Tonight is about digital remnant audit. A digital remnant audit. It is about meta untethering. It is about digital dominion. It is about asking who still has access to me. And let me just pause right here. Okay? Because I did a whole script for this so I can stay on topic. Some of you all have made so many changes. You've grown, you've matured, but you still feel connected to an old world and you don't know why. Maybe because there's an old version of yourself that still lives online and you don't even realize it. Okay. So I want you to ask yourself, what old version of me is still public? What platform is still holding my identity and maybe holding it hostage? Just because you abandon it does not mean you're frozen in time. And this is one thing that I was really big on with my business owners and my investors, the people that I coach and my clients. Because listen, your brand, who you are, your job, everything is tied to your online presence or digital footprint that you don't realize you left. And it will determine your currency. And the best currency will be to be invisible in this hour. It's changed, you all. Everything has changed. So you have to get real comfortable with abiding in the shadow, not to be mysterious or anything like that, but to understand the data centers, the FCC, this mean of getting this digital control, flock camera systems, all these things are tied to hold you hostage digitally. And here's the thing, you're going to be like Neo or unlike Neo. And you remember Neo in the Matrix? He was one of all the field of millions of people that was even able to unplug. What if I could show you, and I know it sounds crazy, but what if now you could start the unplugging before you're locked into the matrix? And I'm going to tell you something now, just like the word of God says, there are more people, hell is enlarging itself every day. More people are going through the wide path instead of a narrow, straight path, which was very hard for me to accept. I didn't want to believe it, but I see it. I see it this very day. People will go just for convenience. People will hand over their sovereignty. They will hand over their identity. They will hand over their blood, their bodies. COVID, anyone? This is no longer a conspiracy theory. You are what's the name of it? It's called, I think it's active capital. You are active capital. They're letting you know, plain and simple, that you are being traded, that you are being monetized, that you are a living stock. It's not the cattle. It's not the pigs, even though that's part of the commodities. You are a commodity. Untether yourself. Start the process. Start de-Googling yourself. I'm not saying that you can't have, access to certain things, that you cannot, be part of, like, we're on YouTube right now, but it's one of those things where you have to be very cognizant of what platform you're on. And I'm going to tell you right now, none of the meta ones. I'm telling you now, it is this dystopian world that they're funneling us into is disgusting. And y'all, it's going to happen sooner and quicker than you can believe. You have to why every platform. I just seen a post where the guy said Spotify wanted him to verify his identity and wanted his ID. Why in the hell would they want your ID? Oh, it's to protect against fraud. No, it's not. You're being herded. You are cattle. You are active capital. And they all have stake in you. Let me finish. So what platform is still holding my identity? There was an old Pinterest. I found an old Pinterest. I was sick to my stomach. I'm going to get into that when I get to the monologue. What digital door did I forget to close? Because your old self may be gone. Hallelujah. But your data, his data, her data may still be talking. And tonight, we're going to close the back doors. I'm going to help set that in motion. So, hey, Kev, I'm glad you're here. Guess what I'm about to do? The monologue for you. Yes. Oh, I just seen the thing. He says, we got a monologue tonight. Yes, sir. And I'm about to read it right now. And I'm going to be honest. I've been keeping up the videos. I don't know if I will keep this one up. And y'all know I've taken down over 50 million what I have over almost 100 million views on my channel. And let me tell you something. And this is how serious I am. I took all those videos down and I archived them. Okay. Because I know there's a day coming when I unlock them and the past is going to prove the present. You all like to come on here. You like to listen to me. You like to listen to things, but you don't do nothing. You have itching ears. And let me just go ahead and make it really clear right now. Okay. I'm not here for your entertainment. I'm not back to entertain you and to get you in your head and you go, oh yeah, that was a good talk. Just like the market is treating you like active capital. I need you to be like the word say, you need to be a doer of the word. If you're going to sit around and you're going to listen to me for 5, 10, 15, 20 or 2 hours, you need to be a doer. I want you to have intentionality. Don't listen to me for buying time, because there's going to be a day, and I mean this, there's going to be a day you're going to be punching the air because you're going to wish you had listened. It's better you don't even listen so you don't even have to go through the torment. Let me make something really clear. My channel's not monetized. I don't get a dime off of these. I don't need this. But I want people to be open participants and to hearken unto the word, because I'm not trying to pipe myself up or make it like I'm this deep, mysterious person, but I'm going to tell you the internet is full of foolishness. It's not getting you from point A to point B. It's entertainment. And if you're not stewarding your time properly, I ask myself, there's times I've clicked on a video and I'm like, okay, this sounds pretty good. And I get into it and the Holy Spirit will speak back and say, what are you walking away with? How will this contribute to you positively? Okay. Oh, hold on. That is a really, hey, Amika. I deleted Meta socials, but they are still, listen, we're going to talk about it. Oh, listen, I found that out. They're still keeping the data. I'm sure they are. And unfortunately, I found that out today. You're going to have to literally go in and physically delete and change data, delete. And that's what I started doing. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. He says, even though they say it's gone after 180 days, nothing is deleted. Nothing is deleted, y'all. It lives. This is one reason why I've limited how I'm on the internet, because nothing is deleted. Whatever you put on the internet and you think is gone, it's not. Some of you all get reckless in comments. Like when I had someone leave something nasty the other day. I'm in tech. Y'all be playing on this internet and you act like you can't get found. You act like people don't. You can think you're hiding behind a profile. When people are in tech, I got bots that can find you. Okay? So y'all think you're out here and you're saying racist comments. Okay? Black people, let me let y'all know something. There's going to be a day, there's going to be reels. You're not going to get housing. You're not going to get jobs, because they're going to play the reverse Uno. And that's why I tell people, watch your mouth on the internet. Right now, everyone's got something to say about the Asians. I'm not here caping for no Asian. Okay. I have no beef with Asians. I don't go to their salons. I haven't went to their salons in over 10 years. I have natural hair. I don't patron these people. So this whole boycott of, Kung Pao chicken, and I haven't heard nothing about the Wees, but it's very selective what they're doing, but it's neither here or there. But let me tell you something. They're going to pull a reverse engineer real soon. And then you think there's no such thing as, they say, there's no such black people being racist. Yeah. But when you own the media, when you own the narrative, it doesn't matter. And it's going to lock a lot of people out. And I've been telling you all about, social engineering, but with the social credit score. And I promise you, because of the recklessness that people have done online, it's going to be nasty. The propaganda is going to be nasty. And it's going to be weaponized against you. And people are like, why are you not saying that? And why are you not? Because I'm not stupid. And you think you don't care right now because you think you is Gucci. But when they need to start sifting through the weeds and they want to start really giving you what you want, and you want the segregation and you want these different things, and you don't want these people, you're saying, hey, don't patron these people, well, they're going to say, you know what, well, you're right, let's not patron you. It's amazing how people can't see the forest through the trees. It's gonna get, who remembers when I told you Black people are gonna be set back over 100 years? You think you have it bad. You think you have it bad. You think you got the upper hand right now. It hurts me what is coming. And I'm gonna tell you something. Every time I think, well, maybe the Lord is gonna have some mercy and some grace, you prove me wrong. You proved me wrong. And we going through these cycles all over again. Y'all over here arguing, and I understand what, like, if this is the only thing you have after 50 years, after 60 years is boycott, I'm not following that. But no, you want to shout on the internet. You want to shout. You're sitting there and you're yelling out this vitriol effect on the internet, and you don't understand the energy behind it. And on top of that, the gatekeepers, why you think they're letting you do it? Why do you think they're letting you do it? Because it's going to fit their narrative. Just like when you thought you was getting away with PPP loans and everything else during COVID, and y'all was saying, oh, rob the businesses because they got insurance, and now you don't have businesses in your community, and those businesses are usually the largest tax bracket or tax payers in your community, and you wonder why it goes down to hell in a handbasket. Well, there you have it. Because no one really studies economics. It is pitiful how we have not learned our lesson. And then you go on these platforms and you run your fat mouth. And then one thing, listen, and then I'm gonna get into the monologue. The scripture said, Satan has many names. Lucifer, what is it? Son of the morning, Beelzebub, devil. One of my favorite ones, and it keeps me humble. And it keeps me humble in knowing who Christ is and how he served on my behalf. Okay. Because he is a defending attorney on my behalf. It's called the courtroom of heaven, right? And Satan's name, I'm not making this up, is what? The accuser of the brethren. I had got this revelation years back when I started. Some of you all have been following me on here. I've had this channel since 2018. Okay. And I have had an inward change. I prayed for it, and I stepped back from social media for a very long time. I would get on, get off, get on, get off, but nothing compared to what I used to do pre-pandemic. And one of the things the Lord has showed me, the Holy Spirit had unveiled to me, he says, Kimberly, a lot of things that the reason why you're having a lot of issues, okay, and a lot of the things that you're getting warfare and attack for is because how you ran your mouth on the internet. And not only do you all run your mouth, but you allow Satan to have a chronological time digital footprint, okay? Largest bold font. Imagine Satan, the accuser of the brethren, that is his name. And he goes and he plays tattletale to God. He did that to Job. He did that to so many other people. And he says, hey, well, who's in the chat right now? I see you, Brandon. What's up? He says, Brandon. He says, he goes, the guy says, look at Brandon. Look at Kev. Look what he just wrote. He prayed those prayers, and you was about to open up a blessing for him. You was about to give him that job. You was about to open up the opportunity for him to go ahead and get that business or go ahead and get that apartment. You was about to go ahead and give him his bride or give him this, that, and the third. But let me show you what he said on June 18th, 2026 in a thread with a bunch of other mad Black folks and all the racist comments he said. Let me show you what he said and what he spilled. Matter of fact, let me show you the post. Let me tell you how serious it is. God even told me, Kimberly, be careful what you like. Be careful when you hit that like button, you better be careful what you like. Because when you hit the like button, this is how savvy Satan is. That is you coming in agreement with whatever is in it, if you watch the whole video or not. I've learned sometimes, we have the attention span of a gnat, and there's been a couple of times I hit a video and I liked it. Next thing you know, something say, listen a little bit longer. It could be a short, listen a little bit longer, and they will say something so left field. Okay. So left. And I'm like, oh my, and I have to take the like back. Why? Because it was deception. And this might be a little too deep for some of you all, but you got to understand how this demonic, these platforms, how demonic it is, and how you are coming in agreement with things that you should not be. Black, white, or zebra stripe, it doesn't matter. You got to watch how you comment. I've wrote a comment and the Holy Spirit said, go back and delete it, because there is an active ledger. And if you know anything about me, I teach a lot on ledgers. There's an active ledger on you. Everything. There's an angel in heaven that's writing down everything that you say, that you do, what you come in agreement with, the covenants that you make, the promises that you make, the promises that you broke, and the lies that you tell, the things that you steal. When you think no one else is seeing, it is all seen. And when you get this revelation of social media, I promise you, your world, your life will open up. Warfare will stop. A lot of warfare that we're going through is not even ours. It's because we came in agreement with an argument on the internet. And you're being funneled. You're being there, ciphering your energy for with this hatred and vitriol. I understand that there's injustices, but when you sit here and you fall for these deceptions, you know what? Let me get into the monologue. Let me tell you what happened to me today. And I'm not telling this story because I want to be dramatic, though I can be. I'm telling it because I think a lot of people are living with digital back doors wide open, and they do not know it. I was listening to a woman talk about monitoring spirits. Just, and I know a lot about monitoring spirits, but something told me just click on it. It popped up, and it had already been in my spirit a little bit, but it's not something I really battle with now. I know how to cover my house, pray that if I do feel someone trying to monitor, I shut it down. Okay. And she said something very simple. She said, challenge yourself and Google your whole name. Now, I had done this a long time ago. I was pretty confident that I had de-Googled myself, but I never typed in some of my other full, because I have a long name. I said, wait a minute, when's the last time I did this? Because I've had my bot do research, but I did it from the research standpoint of CEO Drive Her, not some of my other popular companies or my full name from years back. The minute she said it, y'all, I felt sick in my stomach. Because I was like, Lord, I don't know what I'm going to find. So I did. And when I tell you I was mortified, I mean mortified, not annoyed, not mildly uncomfortable, mortified, because I found old digital doors that I thought were closed. I found old Facebook remnants, old profile access, old business pages, old public visibilities, old photos, old connections, old pieces of a version of me that I do not live as anymore. And I had a moment and I said, Lord, what is this? Because I have been teaching analog systems. I have been teaching decentralized hybrid living. I have been teaching people to de-Google themselves. And y'all, I promise you with everything, I know I had looked myself up. I know if I told you I have a whole system. I do this with my clients. I did this, but some way, somehow, this was hidden. And the Holy Spirit is unveiling these back doors on social media to me. Okay. But I feel sick. Right? I've been teaching people to de-Google themselves. I have been teaching people to stop letting apps, platforms, clouds, and digital systems hold their entire lives. I have been teaching people to build offline records, own their domains, steward their documents, and stop confusing access with ownership. And yet, here I was finding old digital doors open in my own house. That will humble you. Because it is one thing to say, I left Facebook. It's another thing to realize Facebook may not have fully left you. It was one thing to say, I do not use that platform anymore. It's another thing to realize that the platform may still be holding your name, your pictures, your number, which my phone number was, one of my phone lines was public, was still access to the public. And I couldn't understand how I was still getting certain calls. I was like, how I've registered it with the FCC so I don't get spam calls and all, but I was still getting calls and I could not understand on one particular phone line, and that was the one that was public. See, a lot of times we think monitoring spirits are people like, oh, an old jealous coworker, or people who we used to be friends with, or people who, I got a bunch of people who still don't like me on online. There's people who don't like me so much they go out their way to dislike a post, because we can see the dislikes on the back end, right? They'll go out their way to try to think they're saying something smart from a profile. They don't realize that we know who's connected to it, but they're dumb like that, right? There are people who literally, if you don't like me, block me, unfollow you. You can, there's a button that literally says don't show me this. Like, I hit it on people all the time. So there's people, yes, they will monitor you, but I had things on lockdown in such a way that I was like, it's very minimum, but something in my spirit said there's an open door. And I found the open door today. So your number, your business history, your family connections, your old posts, your old captions, the old version of visibility. And that is when it hit me. This is not condemnation. This was an audit. This was God showing me, and I'm not even gonna, I don't know if I had a dream. I literally had a dream last night. And the dream to me didn't make sense. But when this happened, I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. But going back to the monitoring spirits, y'all, the monitoring spirits are the US government. The monitoring spirits are is Meta. It's Google. It's AI software. Y'all have no understanding the third-party intermediaries that are in existence that got you on an open exchange, and you are nothing but active capital to them. They don't have a business model if they don't have your business, if they don't have your information. I've been in data software for over a decade. I wish I could explain to you how deep this is, how massive this is. Every part of you tells a story, and you have to shut it down. This is why you cannot allow people to have access to you, and don't volunteer access to you. Let me finish the monologue. There is a difference. Condemnation says, look what you did and be ashamed. All right. And audit says, look what is still open. Now close it. And some of us have been treating old digital exposure like shame. And I had shame. I ain't gonna lie. I seen pictures with my butt out. Okay. I seen pictures with my butt out. I seen pictures with me in bikinis that I was not, this is when I had my fitness company. I was more sexually explicit. And to me, then I thought I was being conservative, but now I seen those pictures and I was disgusted. I was disgusted at my, my thread. The things that I said. There was the last post on one of these pages was like from 2018, but the lack of maturity. I was utterly disgusted with myself. And I'm so glad the Holy Spirit had to really, had to wrestle me real quick so that I didn't get depressed, because I was like, who is this person? And then I had to have gratitude because, number one, he chastised those he loved. He exposed things that are open doors that the enemy can use against you. And I'm sitting here like, I'm going to have to fast and pray. Like, this stuff is still here. There were people, let me tell y'all something. There were people Just 3 weeks ago, there were people still sending me friend requests. There were people who were sending me inbox messages. There were people who was tagging me and stuff. I ain't been on Facebook in over 6 years. That, y'all, the back door was left open. And I was pretty sure they were all locked and closed. And I said, my God, this is a missing link. And I want you all to evaluate yourself and audit yourself as well. If you have a digital footprint, if there's an old page you think you had and you was on, I don't care if it's when you was a teenager. I don't care. I shut down old email addresses, shut it down. You understand me? And some of us have been treating old digital exposures like shame when really it needs to be treated like systems issue, a governance issue, a stewardship issue, a digital house issue. Because if your physical house has a back door open, you would not sit there and cry over the fact that it was open. What you would do, okay? You would close the door. You would check the locks. You would walk through the rooms. You would make sure nothing else was exposed. You would ask, how long has this door been open? You would ask, who could have came in? You would ask, what do I need to secure now? That is what this is. This is not about hating your old self or being embarrassed or all that. I went through that. That may not be the case with you all, but how reckless we are with our mouths on the internet, it behooves me. It behooves me. This is not about punishing yourself for who you used to be. This is not about sitting in shame because you posted too much, shared too much. That's another thing. A lot of us are oversharers. We showed too much, said too much, or gave too many people access in a season where you did not know better. This is about recognizing that you have grown, but your digital footprint may not have caught up with your growth. You changed. Your values changed. Your boundaries changed. Your doctrine has changed. Your relationship with visibility changed. Your relationship with attention has changed. Your relationship with platforms have changed, but old data does not automatically mature just because you matured. Old posts do not repent because you repented. Old pictures do not disappear like the ones with me almost half naked because you are different now. Old tags do not release you because you healed. Old pages do not shut themselves down because you moved on. And that is the part people need to understand. Your old self may be gone, but her data may still be talking. The old page may still be talking. That old tag may still be talking. The old phone number may still be talking. That old inbox may still be talking. That old business profile may still be talking. One of my friends, we're not friends anymore. I abandoned a lot of my old life, and I'm going through a new re-abandonment. I've walked away from so many different things. Oh, and the one thing about me, you all, when I let go of something, I let go. I'm full throttle. I jump in head first. I don't care. I made a decision just this week. There's certain people I don't want to be friends with. I don't want to talk to them. We don't have to have that. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, let me just lay some things out. Okay. And sometimes, people like to still tether. They like to tether. But anyways, I had a friend. We was friends. Oh my goodness. Almost 20 years or something like that. Did a lot of things together. And the first thing I see is her husband died. And I loved her husband. I was like, I just wish there wasn't even I wish I would have shut down. So now it looks like which I haven't been on the platforms. But I almost went down a rabbit hole when I went in my inbox of this page. And I was like, oh my Lord. Now, mind you, I'm not active. I had already deleted a bunch of people, but for some reason it still showed 1,000 people following me. This was like when you could have, I remember this was one of my bigger pages, and people were still tagging me in it, and I'm in things, and I'm like, I don't even talk to these people. I haven't seen these people, but I'm getting tagged. Then I'm seeing old pictures where I'm tagged on their page, and y'all, I became infuriated, because that shows that some people can still be married to an old version of you. You have to understand that timeline will freeze you in time. And I don't care what no one says, the internet is a world. It's a world. It's a real physical world. And that physical world has laws, just like this world has laws, just like in the sea, that is a world. There's laws in the sea, just like in the air, the prince and the power of air. There are laws. That is a world. The Bible speaks of worlds, plural. Okay? Worlds. It don't read your Bible. It don't say world. It says worlds with an S. Why? Because there's worlds within worlds. And when you understand that, and I'm one of this, like, because I'm more science driven. I study physics. I study as a like closet geek. All right, neuroscience and all these different things. And when you and quantum physics is my favorite. If y'all know, that's one of my favorite words. Quantum, all that, right? And when you understand quantum physics, this is a no-brainer. So this is why I don't play about the digital world. This is why I don't tap dance for the digital world, because I understand the power. The last thing I want is a bunch of people watching me that hate me. The last thing I want is a bunch of people sending word curses my way and doing all these different things. I want to be a repellent. I know how to get rid of people. Okay? I know how to do it. All right. And so when you understand the dynamics of the worlds in this internet world, and let me go ahead and crash your party real quick. The internet world is about to change. Now, I see a bunch of my people in here, and they already know this. A lot of you all are so like, I see these videos, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. These people like, oh, I seen a woman today telling corporate women, entrepreneurship is overrated. You need, of course, everyone's out here trying to get you to get a YouTube channel or trying to get you to be a content creator. Let me tell you something. Me and my people have already been pivoting years ago. Web3 is, come on, let me put it on the screen. You already knew where I was going with it, Kev. Web3 is here. And you all are buying, and they're tricking you. Meta is tricking you. Google is tricking you. TikTok is they're all tricking you. And they're tricking you because they know Web3 is coming, and they don't want you knowing Web3, because when Web3 come up on the scene with like a bunch of us that's already been prepped and prepared for Web3, we're just going to go right into it. This is blockchain technology. It's not going to be about social media platforms. It's going to be you. What was I talking about in Bank Yourself on Tuesday? Having dominion, owning your domain. This is why they're moving like roaches to getting you to do everything. They're trying to get you to put your ID and all this. They're going to own your likeness. They know this. They're going to have to build this. A lot of the things you see online, they're complaining about AI. It's the platforms themselves making these fake accounts. You're going to have to own your domain. And this is why I've been teaching some of my people, you have to learn to get online and get offline. That's a whole nother lesson for another day, but you got to get online and get offline. That is a skill set. Not here to get likes, not here to get praise, not here to get worship, not here to get attention. And then by the time y'all look up, while they keep getting, it's like this guy made a really good point of how, some folks y'all like to do this whole boycott thing, and then Target is still $1 billion company. Just because you set them back for 1 year, a few $1 billion, let me tell you something, they're going to get it back, and they're going to get it in blood. You understand me? They know how to get it back. They know how to run it back. They don't operate on it year and year. That's for their shareholders, but they have projections out for 10 years. They just pivot. And we got them. You was a mere inconvenience, but thanks. We shut down. Did anyone go and see how many Targets were shut down in Black communities? And you're saying, That's right. Now all I see on the news is where's all the pharmacies? Why is Walmart closing? Why is Target closing? Why Kroger is closing? Because I mean, duh. And you gave them the excuse that they needed. You cut off your own foot. There's other better ways of going back to get you. So you're gonna shut down DEI for Target, but you didn't do it for Amazon. You didn't do it for any other major other chains and stores and airlines that did it. You didn't do that. So it's like it's a joke. It's a joke. Okay. There's other ways. You're not boycotting these social media platforms, and they got rid of their DEI programs. They all did. Okay. It didn't. It didn't benefit Black folks. It was other people, LGBTQ, Asians, East Asians, Indian Asians, Pakistanis. They got to take advantage of the DEI programs. Not us. Not us. So anywho, let me finish with this. So that old comment may still be talking when you was ignorant, okay? And it's still there. That old picture may still be talking. The old platform you swear you left may still have a version of you standing there publicly. And y'all, I'm telling you, they're going to bring the social credit system. They're going to bring in the social credit system. And for you to be able to get your UBI, you better be on point on social media. If you're saying something they don't like, if you stand up for Palestine, if you speak up against Israel, okay, hopefully Trump shuts that down. Whatever the case may be, understand you're going to be funneled and curated. Just like, did you just see what the EU just did? Did you just see what the European Union just did? 14 countries. Oh, that can't happen. Oh, and Canada. That can't happen here. Baby, it's already happening here. They just doing it in a backdoor way. And you too, you can't see the forest through the trees. All right. And we are still entering an era where that matters more than ever, because this is not just about embarrassment. This is about identity. This is about privacy. This is about likeness. This is about data. This is about AI. This is about digital ID. This is about platform control. This is about who owns the record of you. And you don't realize, see, the record of you is a ledger. And the record of you, I keep telling you, you are active capital. And if the active capital has a ledger, and it's going to, listen, y'all, I'm not going to say the company, and some of y'all can say it in the chat because I'm pretty sure you know it. Many companies, just like music companies, they do something that you all won't even do. They take insurance policies out on you. So there are certain businesses, major chain businesses, that will hire people, and they tend to hire low income people. And you know what they do? They take out insurance policies on you. Mm-hmm. Oh, they blocked VPNs, Cicely. They blocked the VPNs. Mm-hmm. They take out insurance policies on you. Why? Because you're active capital. And then when you die, your family don't even know it. But when you die, they get to collect on $1 million policy or a $500,000 policy on someone that they was paying $725. A lot of these businesses, and I need y'all to understand something, a lot of these businesses are not closing down or changing up certain things because of tariffs and raising prices. A lot of their sinister means of earning have been shut down, especially through the NGOs, you know, that stuff that was exposed. A lot of businesses, Walmarts or whatnot, you'll be surprised how much of a front it is. Let me put that on the screen. Yeah, look into it. There was a time, and I was big into this. There was a time when everybody told us to build digital real estate. I was really big about that. Be everywhere. Reserve your name everywhere. Start a page everywhere. Create a business profile everywhere. Post consistently. Show your face. Build your audience. Grow on Facebook. Grow on Instagram. Grow on TikTok. Grow on YouTube. Build your name on platforms you do not own. And for a season, that looked smart. For a season, that was a strategy. For a season, that was how people built brands, businesses, communities, reputations, and income. But we are not in that season anymore. It's dead, it's gone, it's over with. Okay? It's over with. And I just found out YouTube is got a feature where now they have DMs. Did y'all hear about that? It's already rolled out, but only certain people got it. I don't know if it's in I think it's in beta. I think it's in beta. Again, don't you don't you dare, because all these new features that are being rolled out, y'all, understand you don't own it. Whatever you do in the platform, you don't own. It's not your. I have a class that I taught, one of my favorite classes. It is called Stop Building other people's yards. Okay? Build your own playground. But we're not the same anymore. The digital landscape is changing. AI changed it. Digital ID is changing it. Data centers are changing it. Platform censorship is changing it. Age verification is changing it. KYC, which is know your customer, is changing it. The monopoly grab on your data, because this is what this is right now. Your data, your likeness, attention, voice, habits, and behavior is changing it. So now the question is not just, are you visible? The question is, who controls your visibility? Who controls your name? Who controls your image? Who controls your content? And every day they have some new, hey, we updated our terms and services. Hey, we updated our terms and services. Hey, we updated our terms and services. And every time there's an update, they're taking a piece of your IP, which is your intellectual property. Okay? We're reading something in the background. Who controls your content? Who controls your account, your audience, your archive, your old history? Who controls your proof? Who controls the digital memory of you? Because privacy is becoming the new wealth language. And I do not mean privacy as in being mysterious for aesthetics. I do not mean privacy as in hiding because you are scared. I mean privacy as an infrastructure. Privacy is being able to control access to your identity. Privacy is being able to decide what version of you is public. Privacy is being able to separate your business from your personal life. Privacy is being able to protect your family photos, phone numbers, records, locations, and old history. Privacy is knowing what platforms have access to you. Privacy is knowing where your data lives. Privacy is knowing how to exit. If you've gotten into any of my exit strategy classes, you will love it. And most people are not ready. Because most people are not just online, they are entangled. There is an entanglement with so many of us online. All right. You're entangled with Google. You're entangled with Meta. You're entangled with Apple and Amazon. You're entangled with TikTok. You're entangled with old emails and phone numbers, family group chats. I remember, listen, it was last year. I did it reluctantly because all the family was coming together. And my aunt, I thought we was going to do Zoom, but she said, we're going to use WhatsApp. And I was like, what? But I said, fine. So I did WhatsApp. I don't think people was too happy because it was the day after Thanksgiving because we was all doing all the planning and all that. And I think it was maybe a day or two after Thanksgiving. I deleted that thing off my phone so quick and got it off because I was part of the whole board of when we was doing a huge like family reunion Thanksgiving down in Florida. I got out of it. I don't like family group chats like that. Okay. Entangled with cloud accounts, old devices, platforms that they, you're entangled with platforms they hate but still rely on, right? And when you are entangled long enough, convenience start to feel like captivity because everything is your sign on is tied to your Google account. You can't get into your banking unless you get the authenticator to come through Google. You can't get into X, Y, and Z unless they send a text message through such and such. You can't get into such and such unless you use, because some of us used to use our social media profiles to be able to log into an account. I used to have on one of my phones, on one of my iPhones, the biometric where my face could open it. I disabled all of it. Okay. In the name of convenience, we do this stuff, but convenience become captivity. Oh my God, Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown, oh my goodness, how are you? I thought about you. Hey, Reverend. That's the preacher man. Wow, Mr. King, it is good seeing you. Wow, that's a lovely surprise. So I'm not telling you to throw your phone in the river. I'm not telling you to never use technology. I am not telling you to go live in the woods, which I'm doing, and pretend the digital world does not exist. I am saying use the tool without becoming the product. Will that preach or will that preach? Use the tool without becoming the product. Use the internet without letting the internet own your whole identity. Use AI. Come on now. Without letting AI become your brain. Use platforms without letting platforms become your house. Use digital access without confusing access with ownership. Because access is not ownership, y'all. And a lot of you think you own your platform, you don't own nothing. When you start, I want you to so let me ask you something. All the things that you use, people like, this is my page and I do. Let me ask you something. Can you write it off on your taxes? Do you own any shares in Meta? Where on YouTube do you own your stuff? Where on Instagram do you own your stuff? They give you the illusion of ownership. And you know what? And people be like, oh, they crazy talking about what's that saying? You'll own nothing and be happy. Well, you all have owned nothing and been happy for a very long time. They got you comfortable with not owning the platforms that you work tirelessly on, or that you share your information or you use as a means to connecting with family. Why don't you go see your family? Why? I don't count on one of my, oh my goodness, she's not a baby anymore. She's almost 17. And one of my nieces, we was talking today. Okay. I was talking to her today, and we call her Raya. And we was FaceTiming. And she's going to come down. We're going to go out to the country and do some things and some farms and whatnot. And it was so majestic because I don't follow none of my nieces. I don't do that on social media. And anytime my nieces would find me, I would block them, even on YouTube. Like, I have a ton of nieces. Now, I have a lot. Okay. Because I have, 6 of us. So I've been an auntie since the age of 13, 14 years old, and I'm 45. Okay. And my brothers were having babies like litter of puppies. Okay. Like pit bulls out here. All right. So I got a lot of nieces and nephews. And we was talking today, and it was so amazing. And it was so organic. Why? Because I'm not looking through a lens, catching up on someone's life through a lens. We got to go back to having community, to knowing our neighbors. Like, I love going to my farmers. I love going, there's an open farmers market I go to every week. I love it. I know everyone there. I know them by first name, and you can even go to some of them their houses because they sell their sourdough on their porch or their raw milk or whatever the case may be. Like, I love community, and we have to get back to that. We don't know how to be outside, and I ain't talking about the outside. I'm talking about be outside and genuinely sit on a bench and have a conversation with someone. So your login is not ownership. Your profile is not ownership. You don't own that. You just think you do. A cloud account is not ownership. They can shut it down and say, hey, we're going to send you your files while they still are your files. A phone full of screenshots is not organization. Facebook memory is not a personal archive. I know, because I specialize in helping people create archives. archive systems. A Google Drive folder is not legacy plan. Mind you, all these platforms are using your data to build out their own AI platforms. A platform audience is not dominion if the platform can lock the door. Okay. And the good thing is the Lord allowed a lot of these platforms to lock me out when I was very open about being an election denier and I was an anti-vaxxer. And because I was right in what I had to say and I was spat on and whatnot, they shut me down. YouTube was shut me down. There was times I would be suspended 30 days at a time, 14 days at a time, 7 days at a time. I couldn't post, I couldn't respond, I couldn't do nothing. And I remember at this time I was getting a bunch of strikes. And like, you get another strike, you'll be totally da-da-da. So I have to play nice for a little bit. And that made me feel, I was so pissed off. And I said, you know what? I'm your Huckleberry. I'm your Huckleberry. If this is the game that we're gonna, right there, they told me, and excuse me how I say this, it was like, nigga, get in your place. That's what it came across as to me. When Instagram shut down my account and I had like 14,000 people over there, Facebook started throttling me, all that stuff happened during 2020. It was like, he was like, hey, nigga, you talking out of, you ain't talking like the other ones. You need to get on board with all this. And when I didn't get on board, they made sure they bridled my tongue. I said, you know what? You will never have me the way you had me before. You won't have that. I will not give access. I was very ornery about that. It was disgusting what they did. And now, I don't know if y'all know this, but since the YouTube CEO, she died, I think the old CEO died, 2 years ago? And then the minute Trump got back in office and all these reports started to come out about the vax and the mitochondriitis and all that crap and whatnot, then they started restoring everyone's platform. But what about being demonetized? What about how you just totally shut people out? You totally just, Amazon was blocking, there were certain writers that I followed. They were blocking writers. It was one of the most disgusting things, but I told you that was a preamble. They about to really roll it out now. And they're going to do it under the guise of something else, because y'all have to understand right now, because of how the internet is, it's hindering them. They don't like the fact that we're speaking out against data centers. They don't like the fact that people are exposing the evil side of AI. They don't like the fact that we can see certain people's portfolios and what they're doing in the trading markets. They don't like the fact, because the internet is a double-edged sword. A lot of businesses need the internet because it's allowed them to get valuations like never before and to make money quickly, but it also will expose in real time a lot of their nefarious actions. Okay. But now it's going to be who can control the data, who can control the flow of it. And they know people are so addicted to being a content creator or being someone on social media, whatever, that people will hand over their license and everything else to be on the internet. I'm going to tell y'all right now, I'll go tap dance on the sidewalk. The day they start asking for me to upload an ID for YouTube, because it's the only platform I'm on, okay, I'll just go ahead and let y'all know my goodbyes, because it's not happening. I'm not doing it. Okay. So a platform audience is not dominion. And that is why this conversation matters, because the old way of reinventing yourself, what time is it? Okay. Was leaving town. The new way of reinventing yourself is closing digital back doors. And some of us do not need to disappear. We need to audit. We need to untether. We need to archive. We need to delete. We need to remove access, and we need to revoke permission. We need to govern the digital territory that still has our name on it. That is not fair. That is not stewardship. That is not paranoia. That is governance. That is not hiding. That is digital dominion. Okay. Y'all, I've tried it all. I've totally disappeared off the internet, like not being active, and doing stuff or whatever. And I finally had a balance, and it is a blessing to be able to have the ears and the eyes of certain people. But just like anything else that God has put in your hand, you have to steward it. You have to steward your audience. You have to steward. Like when I see people who allow people to be reckless in the comments, I have a problem with that because you're not stewarding. You have to govern. When you're allowing or you're entertaining things that should not be entertained, especially if you're using this for business, I had to learn that lesson, right? You can be doing a lot more damage. So you need to be very, very careful of how, if you're like on my side where you leverage this for business and all kind of different things like that. I don't do nothing on the personal side. I have multiple channels, but it's all for business. Okay. So I'm gonna cover a little. I have a bit more I wanted to go over, and then I'll wrap it up for the evening because this is way past my bedtime. So now that I've told you what happened, let's give language to it. Because if I do not name this correctly, we will either shame ourselves for it, right? Or ignore it, or spiritualize it without ever closing the actual door. And I do not want us to do that. I want us to become sober. I want us to become governed, and I want us to become the kind of people who understand that privacy is not a preference anymore. Privacy is stewardship. Can we say that again? Can y'all type that in the comments? If you are in agreement, we was just talking about how we come in agreement, right? Privacy is stewardship. Now understand when you write this, if you choose to write this, understand if you adopt privacy as stewardship, be ready for the Holy Spirit to show you where there are back doors open in your life that has people or powers. Oh, come on, people or powers peeking into your life, peeking into what you're doing, peeking into where you've been. Because you don't want, let me tell you, with the opportunities that are about to come, you don't want people peeking into something that you don't even know that still exists. Come on, y'all. Amen. Come on. Right, Kev. People or powers peeking in. We don't want that. We want to be sober. Privacy is infrastructure. Privacy is part of dominion. In Tuesday's class, in our Zoom class and Bank Yourself that we had, I kind of led them into a breakdown that I had on revelation on dominion and what was shown to me about dominion. And a lot of us don't understand dominion. When God has given us dominion, right? He never allows you to go and take dominion in something without you being fully equipped, fully protected, okay? And in the availability to operate in full authority. Now, here's the thing. A lot of us are trying to operate in full authority in some things, and guess what? We haven't closed other doors. That's like saying you're going to take authority over a demonic spirit because they keep coming in your house, but you keep watching pornography in the house, or you keep listening to R. Kelly music, or you keep, whatever the case may be, you keep watching horror movies in your house, and you're sitting there saying, I take authority and I claim dominion, and this is God's territory, and I stand flat-footed and and you got Psalms 91 playing in the background. And guess what? Them demons is laughing at you. Why? See, because you have to understand, principalities and powers and rulers of darkness, they don't go by what you think it should be. They go by actual law. They go by, just like a government, they go by ordinances, licenses, they go by laws, they go by those different things. But when you are playing things through these digital devices that compromise your authority, or the authority that God has given you, because he's the one with power. We invoke that power through the authority that he's given us, right? And so you're sitting here and you're trying to take authority over the monitoring spirits, but you got back doors open. You got back doors open into your digital life, maybe even just your mouth. Your mouth is a doorway. And so you have to learn to close those things, and that will allow you to have full dominion. See, this is why the children of Israel could not go into the land of milk and honey, and they couldn't go and take over the land that they could see clearly in the distance. They could see, but they couldn't go into it. Why? Because there were doorways that God knew they was never going to close in that last generation that had been in Egypt. Okay? There were people, remember when the Levitical priests had to take out their swords and, and slew a bunch of them? Why? Because these people was going to hinder their ability to take dominion. Or they would have been, instead of being 40 years in the desert, they would have been out there 400 years. Capiche? So we have to look, we got to see in ourselves, where are these doorways open? And I'm going to tell y'all right now, our phones, our TVs, our music are the biggest doorways that are hindering us. And the brethren of the accuser is using it against us every day. I know, because it's been shown to me. Okay. So the first phrase I want to give you is this: digital remnant audit. Okay. So a digital remnant is anything your old self left behind that can still be found, connected, searched, tagged, indexed, screenshotted, scraped, or used to form a picture of you. Let me say that again. A digital remnant is anything your old self left behind that can still be found, connected, searched, tagged, indexed, screenshotted, scraped, or used as a form of a picture of you. That could be an old Facebook page. This is what I found today about myself. Y'all, when I say I was sure I shut everything down, this is how I know, because God had already given me a dream. And when he gave me the dream, I didn't understand it. And then when I found this today, I was like, oh my Lord, I couldn't believe it. And so I found these things that were still speaking on my behalf. Guess what I did? I shut the door. I shut the door. At first, I went in trying to delete. Facebook had it. I was like, how do I delete the pictures? How do I delete this stuff? And then I found a button, and it was like the Holy Spirit allowed me to find this button. It was like, you could just shut it down where the outside world can't see it. And I said, then I'm gonna go back, and then when I have a whole bunch of time, I can finish the shutdown. That could be an old Facebook page, Instagram account. That could be an old TikTok account, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, a blog. Matter of fact, let me talk about it. I found an old blog that I used to have. Y'all. And I don't know. I listen, I'm sure it's an old WordPress, y'all. An old WordPress blog. I know I scraped this. I know, but how I found it, it was the Holy Spirit. I was finding an old Pinterest. I said, when the hell did I make that? There's no way. I probably made that Pinterest, over 10 years ago. But he showed me this because he was like, there's leakage. And it's time for you. And there was some things I had to make a peace with, but it was an audit. He was giving me a serious digital audit. He's like, Kim, I've been doing really good doing these other audits in my personal life and helping my clients do it. But he was like, let me show you some leakage. And I found a new way of finding some of these backdoor ways that you may not know things are still open. It could be an old domain, business listing, phone number. I had old business addresses up, email address, photos, you name it. That could be a tag from someone you do not even talk to anymore. That's another thing I don't like about, remember back in the day, we would tag each other. Do y'all remember that? We would do a lot of tagging. There's people I don't talk to. I'm on their timeline. I seen it. I was like, ugh. I wish I could delete pictures that people have of me. We're not friends no more. I don't talk to this person. You know what I'm saying? But guess what? It's there. And the dangerous part is you may have forgotten it was there, but the internet did not forget. The internet does not forget. You may have moved on, but the platform did not move on. You may have matured, but the archive did not mature. You may have changed your values, but the old public version of you may still be standing there with an old access, old language, old photos, old exposure, old phone numbers, yada, yada, yada. You get it. That is why this is not just a social media cleanup. This is an identity stewardship. This is not just about deleting pictures. This is not just about making a profile private. This is not just saying I do not use the app anymore, because that's what I was doing, but I was pretty sure I had shut the stuff down. I guess not. This is asking, what version of me is still public? What version of me is searchable? What version of me is still connected to my name? What version of me is still attached to my business? And let me tell you what's going to happen when this social credit score roll out. You ain't going to be able to get housing. You're not going to be able to get jobs. You're not going to be able to get into university. Your kids will be affected by this. Your spouse or future spouse may be affected by this. I'm telling you, this is going to be something, and I will not be surprised if we start seeing this with like dating apps or high class individuals. It's not going to, like how Meg Thee Stallion was putting her whole relationship, like she always does, putting her thought relationships on the internet, and then everyone was praising it. And then just as much as she is publicly praised, she's actually later publicly ridiculed. And then you're sitting there looking at social media. Any man that would look at her social media where she's been, slapping her thought pocket on her man's lap and twerking in his face and doing everything else, what kind of man would want to go on the internet and see from 15 years ago you twerking your thought pocket on some man's lap? Who would want to do that? We have some of us, I think we'll have the grace where things happened 20 years ago, or there's a little snippet of something, here and there. But for the most part, how these people get on the internet and be like, oh, I had an affair. I just seen this the other day. I had an affair and gave my wife HIV from the man I was in love with. Y'all get on this internet and just say anything with and you want to know why? Because you want attention. People want attention, and people be like, oh, what's the tea? Y'all better stop entertaining these demonic attention whores. Okay, they will say anything and do anything just so that they could get a like, just so that they could get viewership, just so that they get traction, and then have the audacity to say, if you want a part 2, just let me know. What? You're a demon. You're a whole devil on the internet, and you're giggling. And y'all, this is not people making up stuff. These are I've seen some of these things where I'm like, I said, let me just watch this through. Is this someone just making up a story, or is this for real? No. And I'm like, do y'all have jobs? There's a woman documenting right now. This has been a trend I've been seeing of women leaving their husbands, hoping. Sorry. Leaving their husbands and saying, oh, I had to divorce the good guy. And then the husband says, okay. And then the husband moves on. She enacted the divorce, said he was great, said he was everything, was a good father. He immediately, usually a friend of hers, immediately snatches up another woman because, hey, I'll take him. And now she's crying and saying, oh my God, I really loved him and he already moved on. Man, you filed the divorce paperwork, made a TikTok about it, and then you want to fake act like you got freedom. Like you wasn't even a slave. Because let me tell you something, anything I learned long ago. And I just always kind of been a person like, you can't really pipe me up like that, like for a good second, but I know the human condition. And so you can't get me hyped up and souped up on likes and praises in the comments, because I know how people lie. I know how people will send bots to your comment section to pipe you up and build your esteem. It's like what was that king? What was that king? Nebuchadnezzar, right? You start flying a little too close to the sun, and that's what happens in social media. And I'm gonna tell you something: when you understand the back end of social media, the higher you go, the scarier it will be. The scarier it is, because you know how you could fly too close to the sun. You have to really tether yourself and humble yourself in this thing, because people have you've given them or they've given you their ear and their sight. So anyway, we got to figure out what version of your business is still attached to these things, right? Because some of us have grown, but our digital house still has rooms from 10 years ago open to the public, and you need to shut it down. And I need you to stop thinking about your digital life like it's floating somewhere in the air. It is a real place. Think of it like a house. It is a real place. Like I talked about earlier, it's a world. You have a front door, you have a back door, you have windows, you have closets, you have drawers, you have old storage bins. You have a basement, you have an attic, you have rooms you do not go in anymore. And you ever went in your attic or your storage room or the basement or a shed and you start finding stuff? You went in to go throw things out and then you start finding brand new stuff, brand new tools, brand new crock pots. You're like, what the heck? I just, what? It becomes, this is what happens when you start opening these other rooms in the digital world. Now, if someone breaks into the digital world and steal your photos, steal your information, steal your data, you're care then, right? So you best start caring now. You have papers you never shredded. You have boxes you forgot existed. You have photos you never archive. You have keys you gave to people years ago. That is what the digital world is now. Your digital house may have old rooms that still have your name on a mailbox. And some of you are walking around saying, I left the platform. That was me, but did not close the room. You did not remove the number. I had to go and remove my age, remove my number. It had where I was living, Atlanta, Georgia. It had old my websites, phone numbers. It had other blog sites. It had all these different things attached. And every time I would delete, and the Lord really had to come in and help me because I felt sick to my stomach. I didn't know I was so open. Mind you, I hadn't been on this thing in over 6 years. Ain't posted nothing, ain't did nothing. So did you remove the admin role? I had a client page. There was a page I know I had made maybe 7 years ago. The girl is still active on it, and I'm an admin. I shut that thing down. I was like, she ain't paying me. I shut it down. Okay, shut it down. I was like, are you kidding me? Did you revoke access? Did you change the password? I think you get where I'm going with this. Okay. Because sometimes the thing that is bothering your spirit is not just spiritual. Sometimes it's operational. Like when your kitchen sink is dirty, when you know you got about 7 loads of laundry that need to be washed, or 7 loads sitting on that chair in your bedroom that and them clothes need to be folded and hang up. That's what we call operational friction, operational clutter, mental clutter. And a lot of times we don't realize, or we can't see, why can't I go forward? Why can't I move forward? You need, what I always tell you all, clean your house. Clean the house, clean the bathroom, clean the baseboard. Just start and watch how things start opening up for you. But we also got to, which I expect, this is what makes me so mad, because I specialize in digital cleanup. So when I found this, I was flabbergasted. Okay. Sometimes it's an open access point, old room, old door, you name it. And that brings me to the second phase, meta untethering. What time is it? Okay. Because I need people to understand this. Meta is not an app. Meta is an ecosystem. Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, WhatsApp, Facebook pages, business pages, groups, old admin roles, old ad accounts, old page roles, old comments, old tags, old messages, old phone numbers, old family connections, old workplace connections, old friend networks. I was even still friends with my brother's ex-wife. I was like, wait. Old business visibility. So leaving Facebook is not the same as untethering from Meta. Deleting the app is not the same as removing access. Not logging in for 6 years, Kimberly, is not the same as closing the door. And some of you know exactly what I'm talking about. You hate the app, but the app still has you. You do not post there, but the page still exists. You do not talk to those people. Don't care to, you don't even go to look at their life. Don't care to, but they still have message history. You do not run that business anymore, but the business page is still public. That was a part of, that's literally one of the things I found. And guess what? I had hundreds of people in there. Couldn't believe it. You do not use that number anymore, but the number still exists. It's listed. You do not live at that live that lifestyle anymore, but the photo is still tagged. There was posts of me still cussing up and down the storm. I said, what? Who? I look like a moron. I was like, who is this person? I don't know if I was more ashamed at the fact that the back door was still open or that I was actually that person at one time. Okay. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't do that no more. She says, look at this. She says, Kim, I remember you posted, you used to post live in Atlanta and your dog and all your beautiful plants in that place. However, in today's time, we must stay private and guess what? I have my dog. I have a place that's double that size and it was big then. I have a huge, beautiful loft here. I got beautiful trees in my house. Okay. Plants and everything. Guess what? I don't post nothing. You're not seeing the inside of my house. I am very strategic about that. And we have to, y'all, people be looking in the background. People be walking through their house on, unless you may be in the middle of the woods, but I wouldn't even do that. I wouldn't even do that. Okay. I would not even do that. I can't. I cannot do it. I love my peace. I love not being searchable. At least, but the thing about it, but I'm still tangible. I'm still tactile, So, where we at? Everything attached to your name doesn't have to have automatic permission to remain, okay? So clean up the Meta ecosystem. If that's anything in the past, if you ever was on Meta at any point, any part of that ecosystem, you have to opt out, okay? Dominion includes removal, okay? So when we do this, what you mean for now? No, I don't. I haven't. No one can say they've seen anything of me. I don't post nothing in real time. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Well, I think I get what you're saying when you say for now. Like I, I don't want to say, but I think I know what you're talking about. It took me a minute, but I think I know what you're talking about. I think what's that? Inspirations in 4K. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It took me a minute. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. So going back to Dominion, you all. Dominion includes removal, eviction, deleting, archiving, cleaning up, revoking access. Dominion includes saying that was a season, but it is no long it no longer gets to represent me. Okay. And this is where I want to bring in the word dominion. Okay. And then we can wrap it up. I have a lot more, but we're gonna wrap it up. I'm gonna close on this. Because dominion is not drama. Dominion is not ego. Dominion is not standing in your house declaring authority while your paperwork, your passwords, your phone, your cloud, your folders, your pages, and your platforms are not are all in disorder, right? Dominion is ordered authority. And this when I get done with this, it's going to change your life, y'all. Okay. Dominion is ordered authority. Dominion is delegated authority. Dominion is stewardship. Dominion is jurisdiction. That's one of my favorite ones because anytime God gives you dominion, he's giving you jurisdiction. And we got to understand the power within that. Dominion is knowing what has been entrusted to you and governing it properly. And your domain is the territory assigned to your governance. Your home is a domain. Your body is a domain. Your business is a domain. Your money is a domain. Your records are domain. Your documents are domain. Calendar, phone, inbox, digital identity is a domain. Your public footprint is a domain. When you go and you get a website, y'all, what do you have to get? What do you have to go file and get? Because the website is not a website unless you have what? Oh, hold on. Brandon says if I post vids, I wear a shiesty mask and sit in front of the bushes. There's a dude on X that I follow that literally do that. His name is Shiesty Nurse. He's in the medical field and his name is Shiesty Nurse. Let me tell you, when I say he is hilarious, he's wearing a poo shiesty, he's wearing a poo shiesty mask and talking about your lipids and talking about your diabetes. Like, yo, I was like, this is what the internet is for. This is what it's good. He is good. I have to share one of his videos in Bank Yourself, Brandon, but he does that. He has a poo shiesty mask on. Yes, y'all got it correct. You need a domain. Correct, Mr. King. You need a domain, right? Anytime you set up a website and you want to make it live, you need a domain. Your old data trail is a domain. So when I say digital dominion, I am not talking about being paranoid. I'm talking about governing the digital territory that still has your name on it. And that means your accounts, your pages, tags, images, business listings, old domains, old comments, old phone numbers. Like some people, now I'll be honest, some videos I took down because God told me to take down because I was cussing people out. I ain't even gonna hold you. I was saved, y'all, but I was some of y'all are on Mr. King remembers. Okay, I've changed a lot. I will read you to filth. Let me tell you how bad I was. Someone would say something smart in the comments. I would be live, open my other phone, go to their page, look them up, Google them at the same time, and then start talking about them. I'd be like, shut up. You can't talk to me because of that. Is this you? Because I'm looking at your page and I'd be going off. Okay. So the Lord really did a work on me. He really did a work on me. Okay. So a lot of my old videos, I couldn't make them live if I wanted to because I'm cussing like a sailor. All right. But glory be to God. All right. So your public records, all these things are digital residue. Because if dominion means governing what has been entrusted to you, then digital domain means governing your online territory before platforms, strangers, bots, algorithms, or AI systems governed it for you. Because that's what they're going to do. They're about to steal your stuff and they're going to govern it for you. Okay. And this is why I keep saying privacy is becoming the new wealth language. What's that? She says, where it goes? She says, I remember you going off. You remember that? So, oh my goodness, yo, you from back in the day. So listen, y'all, I remember I made it on a bunch of the blogs. She says, I remember you made Shade Room during the COVID. That it was the Shade Room. I cussed them out. It was, what was it? What's that on site? It was on site. They was taking some of my stuff and I cussed them out too. And then some famous people from famous musician, a couple of them, I went off on it. Y'all, and the Holy Spirit was like, Kim, are you tired? Because you can't beat everybody up. Yeah, I made the Shade Room. Yep. They was making fun of me because of everything I said about COVID. And it was some people that was following me here that they was clipping my stuff. And so, people was messaging me, telling me they hope I die. Let me tell y'all something. And this is how trauma sets in, but I'm forgiving. I don't hold no art against no one, but I'm never going to forget how Black people told me I was a coon, a sellout, and I'm a die. I should die. They hope my family dies because of how I operated my life and I wasn't buying into the psyop. I had people on this very channel doing that. Yep. All right. So, and the whole thing is, and I saved those. I have famous people, musicians, like people coming at me, doing videos, saying things in the comments, and what I got. Listen, What I had to go through, and the funny thing is, it's almost like it didn't even happen, but it was so extreme. But it radicalized me. It didn't make me bow down and change my position to anything else. I stood 10 toes down. I stuck how they said, I stood on business. Yep. They went off on you because you didn't let them kill you in that hospital. I sure didn't. I sure didn't. I almost died of COVID. But one thing I'll say, God will vindicate you. God will expose people. He will really fight your battle for you. And one thing I'll say about that, that's why I don't jump on these bandwagons, because every time they try to emotionally herd certain people into getting them all mad or whatever, it's the same old play. And then guess what? They're wrong. Yeah. Because I have the what they say, once you get COVID, I have the antibodies. Okay. I got the antibodies. Well, let me wrap this up, y'all. So this is why I keep saying privacy has become the new wealth language, because privacy is not going to be equally available to everyone, and they're gonna enslave you through the digital platforms, y'all. And the easiest way of getting you on board is through social media. Some people are going to have the money to pay for privacy. Me and my people that are decentralized hybrids, us in Bank Yourself, we understand Web3, we understand the blockchain technology. We're going to live outside the beast system. We're not worried about it, but it's sad that we're going to see so many people. Okay. We're going to see so many people that's going to be, unfortunately, they're going to, it's like taking the mark of the beast. They're going to do it. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm just saying it likens onto that. Some people are going to have the money to pay for privacy. Some people are going to have the education to understand privacy. Some people are going to have the time to maintain privacy. And some people are going to have the discipline not to post everything. Some people are going to have the emotional maturity not to need constant visibility. And some people are going to have the systems to separate personal, business, family, money, communication records, documents, and identity. And others are going to be completely trapped in convenience, unfortunately. They're going to be trapped because their whole life is one email account. Their whole family is in one group chat. Their whole business is on one platform. The whole audience is on one app. And we could go on and on and on. That is not sovereignty. That is dependency. That is not digital dominion. That is digital tenancy. And I need people to understand. If you haven't hit the like button yet, can we take a like break? I'm sorry, I haven't asked the entire time. But if you can hit the like button, that'd be good. So my people will be able to catch the replay. Trust me, I'm not concerned about virality, but I do want, sometimes my people don't get the notice because my stuff questionably still gets suppressed, but it is what it is. Okay. I need people to understand the difference between ownership and access. Access is not ownership. YouTube gives you access. Meta gives you access. TikTok gives you access. I don't care if you get 50 plaques from YouTube and you have 50 million subscribers. That's access. That's not ownership. YouTube owns them. Facebook owns them. TikTok owns them. The platform, your profile is not your ownership. A cloud folder is not ownership. A phone number of screenshots is not ownership. An app holding your family photos is not ownership. Okay? Access is permission. Ownership is control. Access can be revoked. Ownership has custody. Access can be interrupted. Ownership has backup. I think you get my drift. And this is why decentralized hybrid living matters. Because I'm not telling people to leave the digital world completely. That is not realistic for most people. I'm not saying never use Google, but I would suggest using Brave for a browser. Never, don't use email, don't use AI. I use all these things. I still have Google accounts. The funny thing is, I actually like it. I'm not, I get it, but it's when they're trying to own me. They're trying to own my data. They're trying to own my information. They're trying to own my likeness. They're using, I stopped putting my files in Google Drives and in the Google do PDF docs because they're building their AI models off of my intellectual property. And you know how I know they're using it? Because they do it for free. Nothing is for free. I need y'all to understand that. It's like when people sign up, oh, I want to use this for free. I want to use this AI service for free. And they're like, oh, yeah, sure, it's free. By the way, load up all your private documents and load up all this and load up all that. And you're freely building their models and they're selling your data. Nothing is free. I want y'all to understand this. Let me tell you something for my entrepreneurs, because I'm doing this thing where and I've been doing it for some time with my people, getting them out of entrepreneurship and understanding being the difference between an entrepreneur and a merchant. But businesses now, there's a time, and I've told my people, don't come to me thinking you're going to get in business easy. Now there was a season and it closed up, y'all. I don't care what these people telling you on the internet because of AI. AI makes things, can make it more difficult, okay? If you don't know how to properly use it. However, to run a business now will cost you 5 to 10 times more than what it would have cost you 2 years ago. Okay? I need you to understand that. Okay? It will cost you more money. The whole business model has everything in entrepreneurship. It has changed. This is why it's not working for so many people. Okay? So you got to understand how this landscape, there's an optical illusion they're keeping up, but this thing has it's changed. Use the platforms, but own your domain. And I have so much more, but I'm gonna close with that. I've been on way longer than I wanted to. I can follow up with the next half of this on another day. I think this is heavy enough for today's talk. Remember, your old self is still online. Okay. Digital privacy, AI, digital ID, and closing back doors are a must. You listen, you may not want to do this, and a lot of you all are a dollar short and a day too late, but learn what you can when it comes to this stuff, because y'all, it's going to be worse. It's gonna get bad. It's overnight. It's going to be instant. Is that thunder? Was that thunder? Oh no, okay. I'm sorry, y'all. We had tornado. I was in my little basement part of my house. They was like tornadoes, and then all the phones were going off. I was like, well, I guess I go online. I can't go upstairs into my bedroom. But if you live in the South where a tornado warning, you're like, all right. So what was I closing off with? What was I saying? I was wondering if that was thunder. Oh yeah. This is not gonna be a slow rollout. They're gonna do this instantly. They're going, when I listen, Web3 is here. They know the internet is going away. As far as Web2. And when the internet comes back on, people don't know about Web3. So what they're going to do is they're going to try to funnel people into, which Web3 is KYC, but it's different. It's different. Okay. What they're going to do with Web2, if people want their stuff back, they're going to be like, hey, thank goodness we had these data centers. If you want to come back, you got to prove yourself. So now you're going to have to use an ID to be able to log into your social media. And we're going to have to validate this. That's what's gonna, y'all. That's what's gonna happen. And I think it will happen this year. I've been waiting for the great blackout. I even wrote a book on it. Okay, some time back. Listen, listen. I don't play panic. I don't play panic whatsoever. My whole thing is all these other things that happen. More, I don't want my information floating out there. Okay, and when what the Lord did for me today and what He showed me today, I don't even know why this talk. I mean, I didn't have to do it, but there was such a conviction. Okay. Oh no. T says she's in a blackout in Central Texas right now. Lord have mercy, girl. Y'all be safe out there. Well, I know y'all should. I hope y'all prepared now because y'all done had a lot of blackouts throughout the years. Okay. Like from Harvey and all that. Hey, honey James. Mm-hmm. So, y'all, if any of anything, they got you prepping for food, they got you prepping for water, they got you prepping for gas, they got you prepping for all kind of crap. Let me tell you something. Get your digital house in order. Get your digital house in order. Get out while you can, because when they bring the social credit system here, they're going to listen. There's not going to be no forgiveness on, oh, that was 10 years ago. They're going to do y'all know what they do in China? Do you know what they do on their social credit system? See, when you post something or you say something online or what have you, they put it on a board, on a billboard. And then they will do a perp walk with you. And then you won't be able to, let's say you wanted ramen. Let's say you wanted to buy steaks. Let's say you wanted to buy certain things. They cut you off from being able to buy certain things. They were like, no, you need to eat rice for a whole month. You don't get to buy such and such, such and such. Okay. I do have classes on Web3. I think I took them down though. I got to do some updated ones. I think I took them down. Yeah. It was too advanced for most of my people. Now a lot of my people, they we talk about it regularly. I weave it in, but I don't think I have them up. Oh, excuse me. But that's what they do. And it's gonna be one of those things where people they're gonna be so backed into a corner. And it's going to be the people who had all that mouth, who had all that lip. And they, at this time, when we should be getting our digital houses in order, we should be getting our homes in order. Listen, y'all, everything I do in business, what I do with my clients, I'm literally, I can't tell you how many sessions I have. I have one on Sunday. I had a session today. I have another one on Sunday. Well, that's all we're doing. We're going to be in a session, me and a client, 5 hours. Thugging it. Okay. Getting things in order, auditing, structuring, SOPs, you name it, getting our houses in order, all the unsexy stuff, being able to operate in an analog yet digital world. People, y'all, people talk about they don't like AI and they don't like tech, but let me tell y'all something. Most people suck at operating in the analog world. And God has told us, like, we have calendars, we have tools, we have ledgers, we have binders, we have these things that we're supposed to monitor. See, I teach my people now. How many of my people in here that's live, and I see some of them. My people, whether it's once a week or once a month, sit down with a board of directors. Even if they're the only ones, they just work for themselves. They sit down with a board of directors. They sit down, because I've helped them create bots, which will analyze their businesses in real time so that they're staying on top of things. And mind you, taking their analog data and leveraging AI. But guess what? AI doesn't run the business. And this is why I'm saying, don't get too caught up in being so anti-AI or anti-tech that you cut off your own foot. Because if you need to be on a ventilator, you're gonna want the technology. If you if you need certain things, it comes in handy. But it's knowing how to create that balance, right? So I'm gonna leave on that note. It was good talking to you all. Um, what is that? I think I did a live. What was that? I hope y'all did. Did y'all do see the live where I help you all shut down your Apple intelligence? Please go check that out. If you have any Apple products, you want to shut down the Apple intelligence so that it is not building their Apple AI from your data. And when you go and you see the stuff that they're using on your phone, on your Mac, on your iPad or whatever, you're gonna be mortified. Okay. So y'all be blessed. Remember, take dominion over what God has put over put in your hands. If he's giving you an audience, if he's giving you platforms, if some of them have ran their course in their season, delete them, get rid of them. Literally you some of the pictures on your stuff, because I think what Facebook is doing when you delete a page or you delete it, um they will like awaken the page. So here's the thing, if they awaken the page after you delete it, at least if you delete all the images and the posts manually, there's nothing to pull from it, if you get my drift. You know what, my people's been asking about that with Android, and I'm gonna now I won't be able to use my phones for that because I don't own an Android. Yuck. But I'll get the information, and I'll find someone that's in tech that's really good and see if they use their device, and I will do the same thing, but of course it'll be from third party knowledge and put it together for y'all, because a lot of my people have Androids and they wanted to be able to do that. And that's part of the de-googling process, because Androids, it's more so Google interface than anything. So yeah. So thank you all. I love you. Please be blessed. Pray over your digital profiles. Pray over your digital footprint. Ask the Lord to unmask and unveil anything digitally. Even y'all, you might be like, Kim, I was never on the internet like that. You don't know who's tagged you and stuff. Go and look at your tags so that you can untag it. Sometimes you've posted something and there was a geo tag attached to it. That's what I'm talking about, right? Make sure if you're still active on these platforms, make it so that no one can tag you. Make it so that no one can comment on stuff unless you approve it. You okay? Just give it some railings if you're still on these platforms, okay? But if you were someone like me that was all over the internet, ask for God to unveil it and to give you strategy on how to dismember, destroy, and take authority over it, okay? So that it doesn't hinder you in the future. So y'all take care, y'all be blessed. Much love, and talk to you later.